Greetings, traders, and thank you for joining with me today. This is Mohan for the Boomerang Day Trader, and this is our Boomerang Training session coming here into Wednesday, the 17th. Very exciting time of the year, very exciting session in the market today with a big bullish up move up 257 points coming into the close in the Dow at third big winning day in a row. And I think it's great. Just a little bit about the markets. Before I go into that, though, please be sure and read the risk disclaimer and risk disclosure that by the CFTC that about futures trading and that it's very high risk and only risk capital should be employed. Just understand the risk disclosure. It's a very important part of our work here at Boomerang Day Trader. And we don't want people trading the futures markets unless they have a lot of money or sufficient risk capital, extra money to cushion their accounts, and so many other things. But moving on from that, I wanted to let you know that the markets are definitely turning around here, and that's quite exciting. Back last Monday, I had sent out a promotional piece for Hyperscalp just to let people know that we do have that available and how to use Hyperscalp and everything. It's part of the Boomerang package if you buy it anytime in the last 6 months or so. It wasn't always part of the Boomerang package. It's a separate add-on indicator. Some people like to try indicators. Hyperscalp is a great way to do it for just $195. But I'm not here to offer you that. I just wanted to show you that when I put this out on the 8th, you can see the date here, February 8th, which was last Monday when the market was just getting pummeled. I made a statement here. The market I had given the 1830 support level on the ES, and I said if they dip down below that, watch for 1804. I'd said this on my live room and everything, but I put it actually here in print. It's really nuts, I'm telling you, with today's market extreme volatility, but with today's capitulation below 1830, we could now be ready to form a meaningful bottoming area. And I wanted to point that out because when I did say that back on the 8th, I had also stated that I was looking for a 100 to 150 point ES rally off of that level. Currently, the ES closed here at 1922.75. Let's see here. Just give you an idea here where we go. 1920. So let's fan this out a little. Just take a look at this here. Here's that dip down to 1802. This was at 211 on the 8th when I put out the briefing. I said we're watching now. You can see them closing down here at 8, dipping down under 8. I said we're now looking ready for a meaningful support level for 100 to 150 point rally after, and I gave the support range 1830 in that briefing on the 8th, and then I went on to clarify and said 1804 when they dip below 1804, 1830, which at that time was not that wide a range for the ES. And so they came down here and tapped 1802.50, and now from that 1804 or right in the middle, say around 1820, you can see here at 22 with the high coming in at 27, we've already rallied 105 S&P handles. So not bad call in the midst of massive mega panic. Mohan came in there and called for the market to be supportive under 1830. I was the only one that did. Everybody else, as far as I can recall, people were saying it could go this way, that. Yeah, nobody was making solid predictions, but I did, and I called it to rally 100 points, and I still think we got more to go. Art Cashin today was talking about 1950 on the ES, which is up here. I'm actually, based on, I'll tell you some secrets about the market today. This you'll find this very important. Based on that, I'm actually looking to possibly hedge above 1950 for a stronger crash back down to the 1800 level. And the way I'm doing that is I'm watching symbol HYG, which HYG is the iShares high yield corporate bond fund. It's a very big fund. It's very popular. High yield corporate bond fund, symbol HYG. Today I was telling our traders that if we got a rally in the HYG, and it's currently trading at, today's close was plus 0.82%. Anything over 1% is big. 0.82 is pretty good ramp up there. And watch for that market to take off. It's going to end up supporting and saving the market, I would say, up there. But combining HYG with the VIX, which is currently down 7%, trading at 22.34. If that VIX dips below 20 and the market pushes up over 1950, that Art Cashin level, the problem is the fear is so quickly getting drained out of the market. If that happens, VIX under 20 and HYG, now supportive, but if that HYG does not hold up at the current level of about 77 to 80, and you see that VIX dip down under 20, probably should roll out the hedges because the market could get really slaughtered at that point. I forgot to ask you, by the way, if you can hear me okay and see my cursor moving. I should have done this before. Please let me know by typing a yes or Y in there that everything's okay. Thank you so much. I forgot to ask. Got a couple of answers. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Loud and clear. Excellent. Thanks, Jim. Good to see you. Alan, fantastic. So let's get started here. First of all, let me point you out immediately, if you're brand new to Boomerang. Now, I always know that we have a lot of our regular friends and guests that come on here every time I do these presentations, just to keep in touch with Boomerang, keep caught up with me, the developer of Boomerang, and someone who trades every day with it. But first of all, I want you to know, if you're brand new to Boomerang, and I'll kind of address today's session for you. In other words, I'll go real easy and show you everything very clearly what we do. But first of all, I want you to realize that boomerangtrader.com, this is our default place to go for all things Boomerang. Now, here's the home page here. You go to boomerangdaytrader.com, right? Now, that's where you can always get updates. You had to go there to get this blog notice and everything like that, and that's great. But what I'm saying is that if you go to 90% winning trades. I just recently made this video, and it's a real short video, and it's real crystal clear. The 2 Boomerang day trader setups for ending trades. There's only 2 of them, and I'm going to go over those with you in a minute here and go over them exactly again. But you always have this short video here to watch to understand the exact process of trading with Boomerang. It's very exact and specific, and with that process, we guarantee 90% winning trades using the U.S. stock indexes. I have not traded Boomerang extensively with the gold and the crude and the silver and the euro dollars and all these different things. So those also are going to have a very, very high percentage. I get emails from India, traders over in India trading on the Nifty index saying, oh my God, it's perfect, it's beautiful. I get people from Europe, all over the world telling me how wonderful it is, but I personally have not verified 90% winning trades except on the U.S. stock indexes. So just so you know, you can watch that video here. I'm going to go over that with you right now, but just keep in mind, remember this, Boomerang Day Trader, boomerangtrader.com. That's your default place to go for all things Boomerang. While you're there, make sure and watch my History of Trading Mathematics video. Let me show you that real quick. I'm proud to show you this out, in lieu of all the trading and the charts and all the things we do. Watch this short 10-minute history video about Fibonacci, Gann, Pythagoras. Just learn about our founding fathers of trading mathematics. In fact, here's a picture of Fibonacci here. When we count on our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we look at a ES price, we say 1922.75. All that counting of 1 through 10, and then 11, 12, 20, 21, and then 3, 31, 30. All that was brought to the West by Fibonacci. You can thank Fibonacci for bringing that over. If you understand numbers, it's called the Hindu numeric numerals, Hindu Arabic numerals. He brought those over from India, who were counting that way back. Fibonacci appeared about 600 to 700 years ago, and we can thank Fibonacci for having that counting system that we use today. So check out that video. I think you'll get a kick out of it. And so moving on here, let me explain to you exactly how Boomerang works. I'll show you the 2 trades. I just happen to have, I've scrolled this back to 2/3/2016, which is exactly 2 weeks from today. And on that, we it's a 2 week period. I like to go over 2 weeks because we have these webinars every 2 weeks. So I like to show the trades from that 2 week period. Now, again, we're still in the midst of this mega bearish market. Things have seemed to turn around a little, but I think, as I mentioned, we're going to flip back to the downside again pretty soon here after a little more rally action. So just remember, we're in this mega bearish period. I want you to see how Boomerang does. But the way Boomerang works is when you get, we have the dynamic trend bands here, which is dynamic trend band 1 and dynamic trend band number 2. Let me quickly switch over to a pointer. Dynamic 1 here, the dashed dotted line, and number 2 here. The reddish color, or what is magenta color, and the bullish color is the bluish color, or the cyan color. It's called cyan technically. Now the way it works is you have a trade channel open up with an arrow here that alarmed and marks a trade's channel opening, and you can change the sounds in the alarms and all kinds of fancy things that are real nice, very flexible. When that new trade channel opens, you don't even think about going long or short until a new trade channel opens that direction. When that arrow opens up, we're going to watch for the trade channel open up, which you can see shaded here. And we're going to watch this next thin line here is this trade signal line. And we're going to watch this thin line here, which is called the Cobra. It's a thicker dotted line. The Cobra is generally going to front run the changes in the market before the dynamic trend band number 1. And the trade signal line is going to change much earlier because it's going to color the candles according to that bias change of the trade signal line. So once the Cobra changes along with the trade signal and you got a new sell channel, for example, all we're doing, there's 3 ways to catch a boomerang trade. The first is to watch for the spread here for number 1 on a new crossover of the dynamic trend bands. The whole focus of taking a boomerang trade is based on the crossover of the dynamic trend bands. In this case, the rule we have is if they're 1.5 points, like in this area here, squished together 1.5 points or less, you can take that first pullback to the signal line after that condition is met, or if they're matching colors exactly, or if they've already crossed over. Those are the 3 conditions. Now, in this case, this pullback signal line was right exact. Now, you have to have dynamic trend band number 1, of course, the bearish color, which is the cyan color, or the magenta color here. But you can see that they were matching, blinking colors the same right on this exact candle, but you already had them squished together 1.5 points. So you trade this pullback signal line, and our rule is you scalp for a 3-point move lower, which usually will come very quickly. And I'll explain to you why. The reason is that when you get these dynamic trend bands matching like that, there is so much market force on that side. Plus, as an additional thing, you can look down here and see the bias indicator 1 and bias indicator 2. You've got red bias indicator 2, and you got, in this case, yellow histograms on the downside of the 0 line matching. That tells you also you're ready to go. But you don't need to focus on these that much, just on the dynamic trend bands. So there's your first winning trade there. And I often tell traders, yeah, I know they run a lot further in many cases. Some cases they don't. But what I'm advising traders to do is get really, really, really good at trading with Boomerang, like so many of the emails I'll give you, which I'll show you in a second what I've done recently. Get really good at that. Get up to the point of putting on 4 contracts. You're going to make after commission $230 on a move like that. If you catch just 3 or 4 of those a day and you're making $700-800, and you do that all year long, I mean, my God, you're up in the $200,000 a year category. Think about it. If someone, you said, I'm going to go find a job, you caught a professional headhunter, you're a well-to-do executive, and you're out there looking for a $200,000 a year job. Well, first of all, if along with the other 40 candidates who've applied for that job, you get the job, right there you're a big winner because you got the job. Well, okay, they said, well, great. First thing we want you to do, Bill, is we need you out in New York. Say you live in a nice, peaceful place like Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm kidding because that's where I live. Nice, peaceful place. I'm joking because I live out with the coyotes way out. Nevada's 30 miles wide, or Las Vegas is 30 miles wide. People always think of the action downtown, but I'm way out by the coyotes out in the more remote, peaceful parts. I'm sort of half kidding there. But he says, you got the job, buddy. We love you. We need you out in New York for training for 2 months, and then we're going to make you a branch manager, which is part of your $200K a year package. Once you're trained, we're going to need you to move to Idaho. That's where you're going to open the new office. Isn't that exciting? And he pats you on the back, and you just go, yeah. But inside, in your mind, you're going, oh, man, I don't want to leave my comfortable place in Las Vegas and my weekends going downtown and having some fun. Oh, man. But anyway, you say, I need the money, you take the job. Well, what if you could sit at home and simply perfect what I'm going to show you today on 4 contracts, which is minuscule. I mean, this is a very small contract. Boomerang is just going to trade, on this case, on the NASDAQ. I'm showing the mini NASDAQ contract here. That's what's going to produce $230 after commission for one trade. You're going to see when I go through a couple of weeks of setups here how easy it is to catch 3, 4, 5 setups and stop for the day. Sometimes that's going to happen in the first 2 hours of trading. And if you do it right and you follow that, not only can you give yourself a raise by doing what? That's right. You get really good at Boomerang, capturing these 3 points. You can add more contracts. And once you get experience, you see how quickly these 3-point moves stack up. You don't care if it goes all the way down here. You'd rather add a contract or 2 to this and grab that fast move rather than taking the risk of grinding it all the way down here. Besides, let me show you the second setup. I just explained the first setup. That was easy, right? Nothing hard about that. It's all done for you on Boomerang. The second level is when you get a trend move like this one, and you get that steep dynamic trend band number 2, you get a counter arrow. You have to have a counter, in this case a sell channel, buy arrow, that you want that arrow to print, and you want the failure of that buy channel to get anywhere to push prices up above the dynamic trend band number 2 to change the color, so that when you get a counter sell arrow, you got your finger right up here on the trigger, and the minute you see that yellow dot print and a new sell arrow print, and if you miss this one, you just take it right here, and you got your, let me go back to a cursor now. For those of you new to Boomerang, you right click on the chart, go to cursor, crosshair, and you get that new sell arrow. If you miss this yellow dot here, because you were expecting this buy channel to fail, it's certainly not a trade. It's not a Boomerang trade. We're using it as a signal to watch for a continuation pattern. And you go short here. Look at that. Right on the signal line, you see the 75 half comes crashing down to 68 quarter. 3 points. You just made, within the space of the 636, this West Coast chart here, 655. So 40. This is about 18 minutes. If you had what I call a blue collar working trader account with 5, 6, 7,000 bucks in it, trading 4 contracts, you just made $230 after commission times 2. That's 460 bucks in 17 minutes. Now, if that gets you worked up, you can stop trading for the day. Look, I know they kept getting hammered lower, and we show you how to catch those moves using Boomerang if you want. We've done that on several sessions, and I can show you that again. For right now, I'm trying to focus on all the new Boomerang traders that we have coming into the market here. So when that bottom of the market comes in here, and they start bottoming out, what you're going to do next is go over here and watch for the next setup. So what are we watching for? That's right, we're watching for the dynamic trend band number 1 to cross over, and we're watching for a buy channel, and ideally with a steep dynamic trend band and a steep sell-off like this, we're watching ideally for both colors to match, just to make sure that this trade's going to pan out. Because when you get a big move like this, you usually get a lot of whipsaw after that occurs. Don't take the first buy because you don't have the crossover yet anyway. And wait for the second one, a little whipsaw, Then on that third one where all the dynamic trend bands are matching right here, go ahead and buy that pullback at 30 half, and they shoot up to 35 quarters. So you got your 3 points in there, just barely, but you had to make sure. This is why we take 3 points. You had to take that 3 points because all of a sudden the effects of that downside move in this bearish market back on this date on 2/3/16, they started crashing them out. Now, one of the other rules, which has to do with, and I mentioned this before over here, as a review, they have to either be within a point and a half of each other, matching colors, or crossing over, right on the verge of the crossover. But that rule of the matching colors applies to even if they're not crossing over. In other words, here you have the dynamic trend band, the Cobra, all above the dynamic trend band number 2, but dynamic trend band number 2 remains in the bearish color here, and you've got the matching dynamic trend bands. You can take a pullback to the signal line anytime that condition exists. Well, it didn't exist here because all the market just sold off so fast, which has been characteristic of the last 6 weeks of trading, that you didn't get a signal. But I just want to let you know, and we'll find one in a minute, if they match, even though it's not the crossover pattern, you can still take the trade. Here's another, here's an example of a, now this is just takes a little experience with Boomerang. First of all, you got this new channel opening way up here above the DTB number 2, smash to the downside. You get the counter arrow here, right? You get the counter buy. This is a second level sell setup that worked out, but a little bit riskier because you're selling off so strong. You don't have a super steep dynamic trend band. You got a brand new crossover, so it's a weird sort of pattern, but you can still see the counter buy arrow here, the counter sell arrow with the pullback, the signal line right here, and you get a 3-point move here. But I personally would not recommend that you take this type of trade setup. You only want those second level trades when they set up like this one, generally in a real obvious new crossover, level 1, counter attempt against the trend, failure, and new sell back into the channel. That's what you want. Compare this nice smooth move to this thing here. Whoop. Here's the crossover, then they down again, then you get a second level. It still worked out. If you're fast, you got short at 405 here, or 04 half. They got smashed substantially lower, but not a good pattern. Now compare that to this one. Here's the dynamic trend bands. Very tight here, getting ready to cross over. And you get a pullback, you get the channel opening up here, a pullback to the signal line, everything's crossed over here, perfect. You're ready to go at 875, and they shoot. There's slight pullback against the trade, a couple points, and then you shoot up and you get your 3 points up here. No second level trade, and a higher move up here. No trades either of these sections here. I'll go over this one in a minute. Now, in these webinars, I have very limited time. I usually make my initial presentation for about 45 minutes, and then I record that so you can watch it over again. Sometimes people want me to sit here with the simulator on and turn that on and run these trades, but let me explain something to you. And first of all, that's going to take way too much time. Sitting here waiting for a boomerang trade to set up could take an hour. It's impossible to run a live seminar like I'm doing now, trying to explain to traders how to use Boomerang. But the most important thing is these aren't going to change. It doesn't matter whether this is a still chart or a live chart, because once you learn how to use Boomerang from these webinars, you will go into when you buy Boomerang and you start using it, you're going to use it on the simulator, following what I show you in these webinars, and you'll know exactly what to do. You can see right here, see these pullbacks to signal line? Those are right there in the signal. They don't change. When that price hit in real time, that signal line, it's going to print that dot there and it's going to hold. Now, if you change some configuration in the Boomerang chart to a different type of, that might change. But if you go back 6 months or so, you're still going to see that exact dot printed at the same exact place. You can run a time and sales on that, and you'll find that. So the point is, whether this is a live chart or a still chart, again, a lot of people new to Boomerang will often ask me that because they're confused about Boomerang. They don't know it well enough. Those you guys who've been around, you understand what I'm saying. You learned from these initial webinars I gave you. Now you've gone on in some cases to be 200,000 a year plus traders. And I'll show you more about that in a second. So when these signal line pullbacks occur, according to the exact and simple rules I'm showing you, if this got stopped out, this 875, a stop would have been placed automatically because you click here and I use brackets here. See that? Plus 12 ticks, minus 20. That's plus 3 points and minus 20, minus 5 points. You would have had to see this move here, because this is the exact setup here. At 875 would have had to go down to 375, and you can see it only went to 650. The charts don't lie. The chart would have shown that it was stopped out, and I'm more than happy to say, oh, that one got stopped out. It's very rare to see a Boomerang trade get stopped out. We guarantee 90% winning trades. That has never, ever, ever, even close to having ever been done in the stock markets, in the U.S. stock market, or any markets worldwide. I'm the first and only software designer to develop a system that we guarantee to give you 90% winning trades. Let me take a little quick side journey here back to the Boomerang blog. What I've started here, because I would often show them on these webinars and everything, I thought, Mohan, just put them on the blog and update them. That's the wonderful thing about these AWeber blogs, is you can just, it's a living, breathing website that you don't have to call the website developer every time you want to make a change. You can just make a change right on the blog. I've started a new recent updated Boomerang day trade endorsements. These are unsolicited. I don't even ask them for permission. I just copy them off the email and put their email initials on. I guarantee nobody's going to complain about me showing them what they've said because they're so happy. And I'll give you an example. So you can go here anytime on the resource section, and I'm going to update this blog regularly. See that? So here's some recent ones that I constantly receive emails from Boomerang day trader owners, new ones telling me how much they love trading with Boomerang and their excellent results. So I thought I'd start a blog post showing these updated emails, keep it rolling. So here's some from just 212, just a few days ago, 211, 205. He bought Boomerang and he says, I just want to report this week's trading results. I did not get to trade full days. I engaged about 3 hours, average about 3 hours a day, maybe a little more. I took 38 trades, 35 winners, 3 losers. However, instead of 2 contracts, I traded with 3 for the whole week. 35 trades created $6,300. 3 losers, 650. Had loss of 300, 130. He did something with the losses. That nets out to $5,650 for the week. Here's another person that says, in 2 weeks of trading, my Ninja account, I gained about $17,000, less a few hundred in commission. I really did not think I could bring my account back. He had some heavy losses on account. He had a Ninja account. He was doing some other stuff on his own. He bought Boomerang. I just got Boomerang about a week before Christmas. In other words, right now, this came out 2/11, so he got Boomerang right around December 20th or something, started working with it. The holiday you can't trade. There's not much going on. Mohan, all your students need to do to make money is exactly what you repeat every webinar. It's as simple as that. If they do that, then they can be financially independent. I follow the rules to the letter, almost fanatically, because it keeps me out of trouble. So they go on and on and on. I'll show you my favorite one because I know this fellow. I worked with him after he bought Boomerang, answered a ton of questions. And they're all amazing comments from emails. But, this is one here. Just doing great with your Boomerang day trader and Hyperscuff. I've never been so consistently profitable and confident in my trading as I'm now using your indicators. I'm actually looking to close my contracting business of 14 years, and those guys make a lot of money, to be able to trade full-time. A dream come true. He's duplicating his contractor business income, 200,000 plus a year, using Boomerang, except he doesn't have to hire all those people and fire them because they screw up. He doesn't have to, constantly be looking for business, and then you book the business, you got tons of liability. One of your workers is up on the roof fixing something, he falls off the roof. His insurance kicks in, your premiums go up, etc., etc. Complicated. Doing business is very difficult. We all know that. So I'm just showing you, and there's a whole bunch of them in here similarly. I'm going to update this whenever I get comments on Boomerang, even if they're negative. But I don't get any negative ones, because if people follow what I'm showing here, like this last person said, just follow it fanatically, and you will do very, very well, and you can make a living. You see what I'm saying? Now, sometimes when you trade with Boomerang, I always mention this, but people should know this. Sometimes I forget a few things because I'm so used to doing the webinars. But Boomerang is designed to accommodate slippage. That's, first of all, why we use a 5-point stop. Now, these moves at the signal line are going to be alarmed, and instantly that dot's going to print on the signal line in a millisecond. But you generally, when you're trading with Boomerang, you want to have, here's the signal line. These are all going to be gray unless I move it to the current price right now at this exact moment. This is a signal line here. When you're trading with Boomerang, you can see the price marker is here. You want to watch for the price marker to merge into the signal line. That's actually the best way to do it. The minute those merge, hit your buy or sell button. Rest assured, if it trades at that signal line, you'll get a print on the dot. You can wait for the dot and everything, but you might, on occasion, get more slippage on one like this where they fall right off the signal line. Boomerang's so accurate that they'll fall right off sometimes of the signal line. Sometimes, like here, you'll get your entry. No, this is not a correct entry. The correct entry would have been on this dot here, and boy, you better have got that one. They shot right up after you got them. Let me find an example of a different trade. Okay, here's a good one here. This is one of those cases, and I was talking about this earlier, so I'm glad this showed up, where this trade, there was an immediate fat channel formed. This is called a fat channel. If you turn your head to the left, we don't trade at the top or bottom of fat channels. We just wait until we get the exact right Boomerang setup. But here is a case where the crossover of the DTB number 1 had already occurred under the number 2. They flipping around in whipsaw fashion, and then you get a sell channel here. But if you're experiencing Boomerang, you go, wow, both trend bands are matching. Therefore, I'm going to take the next yellow dot because it'll be a winner, almost guaranteed. We can't say guaranteed on all trades, but I actually put it in print on my website. I haven't had any calls from the regulators or any traders. I haven't had one single person ask me for a refund or to challenge Boomerang on that basis. It works. Once you use it faithfully according to what I'm showing you here, you'll start making money. You'll be very happy. So here's a sell channel, and the dynamic trend bands are matching. So you're going to go ahead and trade short right here at that signal line at 38 even with the yellow dot there. But you can see here that 38 ramped up to 42. So you actually had a, 38 even, ramped up to 42. So you actually had a 4-point slippage there. That's going to happen sometimes. That's not a big deal. That's part of it. So yeah, you're going to get in these trades. Like here's a second level trade. See the buy arrow and then the reversal back into the trend. That confirms your sell. You'd probably have traded right here on this yellow dot at 33, and 33 ramped up to 37 quarter. Again, it had another, because of the heavy whipsaw we've been experiencing last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, because of the heavy, but it held the 5-point stop. Let me say something else too. These markets we are in right now are not normal markets. I have never, ever, ever in 25 years seen the kind of volatility that we've seen the last 7 weeks. Never. It's historic. So I get these emails from some new traders, God bless them, coming into the most volatile period in the markets, and they'll ask me questions like about the whipsaw and stuff, and how violent it is. I'm going, I guess you don't know this, and a lot of people who've been only trading 5 years or less, what even 10 years, well, if you're 10 years, you might remember 2008. Yeah, you would have remembered 2008, 9, pretty volatile, but what I've just seen in the last 7 weeks beats it to pieces. This was radical. Anyway, just keep that in mind. That's why normally you don't see Boomerang ever get stopped out every now and then, but you don't see the usually doesn't pull back against your position amount. It's just the whipsaw. Anyway, so I hope that's important that you notice that about our blog, how you can use the blog. Keep up to date with the testimonies on there. That's going to be you next time. If you send me an email telling me of your good success, I love hearing success stories. Obviously, as a developer of Boomerang, I want you to win. I'm not gouging you for this Boomerang. Everybody tells me in the vending industry they're charging 2 to 3 times what I charge for, 5 times as much. You could get a lot more for it. No, thanks. I'd rather just have a lot of traders be able to take advantage of it, use Boomerang and make money, and let me encourage them to start a career trading, because God knows if we're going to have jobs left ever, unless we get some really decent, powerful person who knows how to create jobs and really how to come in the economy and work. The other guy running, the communist guy, didn't have a steady paycheck in his life until he was 40 years old, and then he started writing articles for these cheesy magazines for $50 an article, living in literally like a shack with no floor, and he had to run an electrical cord to the house that the shack was next to. You probably know who I'm talking about. And this guy's running for president, and it's just absolutely unbelievable. And he's saying we're going to give everything away to all the kids. You ever look at his rally? Oh, it's all kids. They go, oh yeah, he's going to give us free condoms, free school, free marijuana. Oh yeah, I want to vote for him. But look at the history of the guy, and you'll be shocked. Compare that to the other side, and it's pretty interesting. I'm not a political fellow, but I am scared for our country. The stuff we've been going through is absolutely terrifying. So anyway, let's just keep stuff in mind here, and we got to keep things organized in our country. Let's get some real winner in there. So here's a Boomerang trade. Now I'm going to go through lightning fire. We've got about 10 minutes, and then we'll go into the question and answer. We'll make it a little shorter session to this time. I've showed you how to use Boomerang. I've showed you the 2 types of setups. I showed you our blog for the resources for everything Boomerang. You have my email if you ever have questions. I'm always here around the clock. And we also have this new blog on the blog post showing all the updated remarks I get about Boomerang, the endorsements. And it's amazing. So now I'm going to go rapid fire through some setups over the last couple of weeks just to show you, even in the midst of the most volatile period in the history of the stock market. Now, I'm not just saying that because I've been around trading 25 years and personally seen it. I've studied the history of the market. Nobody has ever seen this kind of volatility. It didn't exist until January 1st, 2016. So welcome to the wonderful world of trading. As long as you got Boomerang, you're going to be safe. As safe as possible trading these futures. You'll make a lot of money. Start a career. Matching dynamic trend bands, pullback signal line, 3 points there. No second level trend. I'm going to go through rapid fire, like I said. New buy channel, tight spread here on the crossover right here, pullback signal line, 3 points. This is a later session in the day. I'll just rapidly go through them. No second level trade. No trade here. The crossover occurred, but the dynamic trend band is still blue, and they're still moving up here. This is just kind of a wimpy crossover here. Even in spite of that, if you watched right here for the spread to be tight and you went short here, you didn't recognize that this could be a riskier trade. Look at that. 53 quarters still jammed down to 46 half. It still was a big move. You see that? You saw the crossover tighten here. You went short at 53 quarter, and they spiked down to 46.75. You still got 3 points there. I wouldn't have recommended that trade, but if you took it, no big deal. New buy channel with immediate buy dot on the line. No trade there because the dynamic trend bands aren't matching, so we don't take those kind of trades. You got all kinds of whipsaw going, and I'm just telling you that as I go over these charts to remind you, these are not normal charts. You'll get whipsaw in normal markets, but these last 7 weeks have been, volatility is off the charts. Here's the dynamic trend bands matching. You see how they're the same color here and here? Look at that pullback signal line, like a rocket ship fires up here. Another winning trade. No trades here, no counter trend. Now notice this, the dynamic trend band is already under dynamic trend band number 2. See that? If they match color, even though it's under that, you can still take a pullback to the signal line here, or even here. 75 ran up to 81. But keep your eye out for the dynamic trend band number 2, 1 to change red, and for number 2 to change red, because when you get a nice matchup, you've already got the crossover and you got a new sell channel, right? So there's no sell channel in here. Here's a sell channel. First sign of making a trade is you got to have a buy or a sell channel. Matching dynamic trend bands, boom, right there, 3 points. Instantly, 3 points. A little bit of, pullback against the trade, a little bit of slippage on the entry. That's normal. I designed Boomerang to accommodate that. Not a big deal. Let me move quickly on to the next. I'll just do a couple days. I'm not going to berate it because you can go through endless charts. Once you own Boomerang, I highly advise all new Boomerang owners, when you get it, open it up, follow all the emails. There's a bunch of instructions in there. Get it downloaded right. It's not hard, but you follow up with our tech support. I want you to watch some short videos by NinjaTrader on basic functions of NinjaTrader. And, there's a few things in the download. You've seen them if you bought Boomerang. Then you go into learning about the trades. Now, here's pre-market, so this doesn't count. Here's the marketing opening here, and they just killed them off the opening, so no trade there, no second level trade. Down they go. So here we go. We got a new crossover coming in right here. See this right here, the spread 20 half, 19 and 20 half. See that? Your first pullback with that configuration is right here. 31 quarter, and they shoot up to 40.75, almost 10 handles higher off this pullback signal line with the dynamic trend bands crossing over right at that point and matching. Nothing in here, nothing to do. Here's a sell channel, nothing to do. Just whipsaw is what it was. But then you're watching here, and as they come down, you see the support coming in here. They're trying to get bullish. New buy channel opens up. The trend bands are matching, but there's one little problem. There's no pullback to the signal line within 6 candles of the channel. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boomerang is going to mark the first 6 pullbacks of the signal line after the candle opens. If it runs up like this, there won't be any pullbacks. There's no trade. And unfortunately, that market there went to the moon, but you just have to go take a walk or go out in your backyard. If you got one of those phones, I don't, so where you can watch the futures market on your phone, then you can say, oh, you're taking a little walk or doing something out in your garage. Oh my God, maybe setting up pretty soon. Maybe let me get back to my computer. You can do that. Now here's a case where, again, the dynamic trend band, number 1, is already under number 2. So all you're waiting for is for the dynamic trend band number 1 to turn the bearish magenta color. Well, first thing, you're waiting for a new sell signal, waiting for DTB number 1 to change magenta, and a flattening to curving lower dynamic trend band. You don't want this thing continuing up. Just wait if it is a little bit. Here they are flattening, so your first pullback is right here, and down they go for 3 points. Here we go into a chop period. Both dynamic trend bands are matching the bearish color, so obviously there's not going to be any buy signal in here. It's actually just a counter trend move that fails as the new sell channel opens up. You get a pullback signal line and another 3 points here. No losses I've showed you so far today because they haven't occurred. Here's a strong move to the downside. Whipsaw coming across the dynamic trend bands here. One could argue, well, they're within a 1.5 and there's a new buy channel, and I bought this, and they ramped up from 48.50 to 61. Yeah, they did. That's called the most volatile period Mohan has ever seen in the history of the markets, trading 26 years. But I would not have recommended taking this buy. Very risky because of the steep dynamic trend band. better to let it pass. But if you took it, you made unbelievable money in a very quick period of time. Of course, we just scalped for 3 points, but they just shot up to the moon here. So here again, volatile period, shooting lower, no trade. Don't let disturb you. Just wait and wait and wait and wait for the exact correct setup. Nothing in here with the Cobra. Everything blinking back on and forth. Nothing to do. Red dot, blue dot, or yellow dot, blue dot, yellow. That's all whipsaw. That's not anything wrong with the market or Boomerang. That's Boomerang telling you stand aside until what happens? Matching dynamic trend bands, new buy channel, matching dynamic trend bands, pullback signal line, and they shoot higher. No pressure on the entry, up they go. Second level channel that fails to convert the DTB to the bearish color, a new buy channel, but no pull. It forms a fat channel immediately because on this lower move you can see here a rocket ship candle here from 44.75 up to 50, almost 10 handles on the length of this candle. That's huge whipsaw. And 3 more of them. Don't take a buy trade, it's whipsawing. Don't take a sell trade, it's whipsawing. But right here, you might have perceived, because you got the crossover, right? You got the sell channel, you got the matching dynamic trend bands right on this candle here. So that was at 53.50. They ran up here to 57.50, did not get stopped out, and 53.50 ended up coming back down here all the way to 48.75, giving you 3 points. But it was a correct Boomerang setup, very treacherous because the DTB had flattened out. They whipsawed the trade a little bit, didn't stop it out, and ended up gaining 3 points. Quickly the prices shoot up again. A new buy channel opens, matching dynamic trend bands, a pullback signal line. And before you can say whipsaw, 58.50 jumps up to 72. I know it's a little rough. You get in there and 3 points happens in about 3 seconds, and they keep going. But that's, you look up at your sign on your desk, which I recommend to traders, which says, so what? Who cares? No big deal. You just put a sign up on your desk there. And when this type of stuff happens, 3 points happened in 5 seconds, and they shot up so much. Hey, it's the most volatile period in the market, Mohan said. I'm going to believe it. I've never seen it, but I'm going to believe it. I guarantee it is. I never see anything like this. So what? You got 3 points. You had 4 contracts. You got $230. Take the kids out to pizza. Be the superhero dad, the soccer dad, the superhero soccer dad. Take all the kids out to pizza. All right, kids, game's over. You did a great job. Head over to, Bill's Pizza Parlor and pizza on me and sodas. Kids are going, yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Buy your wife a gift, buy your husband a gift. We have a lot of respected lady traders here in the room. Buy gift to your husband because they, a lot of times, come on, I know it very well. What are you doing in that trading? Go get a regular job. You're making me nervous. You're trading every day, and show them the results. Make them feel comfortable about what you're doing. Dynamic trend bands matching right at the crossover here. Pullback signal line, down they go. Haven't had any stop outs so far, and I've never gone over these like I'm doing now. I just do them. I come up here, turn everything on, and said, okay, time for a webinar, and I just go through them. Whipsaw. Don't let whipsaw frighten you. Don't let the markets use you. You use the markets. Boomerang uses the markets to carve out a $240 paycheck on 4 contracts on a small account. Don't let the market use you by driving you nuts and getting you all mental and crazy and making wrong trades that are not Boomerang trades because the market's using you to make you crazy. Don't let it happen. New sell channel, matching dynamic trend bands, pullback signal line. They shoot straight to the downside. Don't speculate. Just follow Boomerang. Rarely get stopped out. Put that fear aside. That's your old fear habit from trading on your own for so long and losing and getting murdered in the markets. Then you have a big winning trade and you're relieved for a little bit until your next couple trades you give it all back. Boomerang won't do that to you. Just let Boomerang help you use the markets to carve out a paycheck. That's what the dream is. The dream is not just trading by the seat of your pants on your ego getting all excited because you guessed on a lucky trade and it made a big run. That's not good trading. That's just, you know, that's not going to get you anywhere. You've already seen that in most cases. Let's move on to the next day here. Let's get them going to the next day. Here we go. Market opening here, big smash to the downside right off the opening. That's because we're in this mega volatile, historically volatile, bearish market. Nothing going on here. They just fell off the wagon right off after the crossover. They just fell right off. So nothing to do there. Now, by the way, and you know this, the modification, there is one little modification rule. If all the signal line pullbacks are used up when there's a crossover and the channel is fairly new and they're right exactly at the crossover, within 2 to 3 candles there's a pullback up to the Cobra, you can take that trade. We didn't get that here, so no trade there. By the way, these blue lines are just lines I mark on the chart for support and resistance areas. They're just little alarms for me to say this is where the market stopped before, where it rallied to. Now you can see using this line, look how they kind of just kept bubbling down and jumping off that line and jumping off it and then finally caving in under it. It's just little helpful things I do. Nothing here, nothing matching, nothing to do. You can trade in the don't trade in the middle of whipsaw. Whipsaw is defined as 3-point or more spike candles next to each other, like here. Green candle, red candle, down arrow, up arrow, yellow dot, up arrow, down arrow, blue dot. That's whipsaw. There's nothing wrong with the markets or Boomerang. It's the market is whipsawing, and Boomerang's algorithms are responding to the rapid price changes. And by doing that, it's counter-coloring channels and signal line pullback. Just stand aside. There's nothing to do. Now, if you're a clever trader and you love trading like I do, and you see both the dynamic trend bands matching in a new buy channel, you can always buy that pullback and take a chance. Just realize you're in the middle of a whipsaw soup. This kind of chart pattern, like say you're going to trade here, you think you are, and you look back at this, which is already fixed on the chart, I look at I go, you really want to trade in a whipsaw soup that's swirling down? Well, okay. All the dynamic trend bands are matching. That's a very high probability. Pullback the signal line occurred right here at 9.25, and they shot up to 13. There's your 3 points. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Nothing's matching. They just kind of fell out. It's the volatility. Just created a weird chart pattern. They just fell off the wagon. Doesn't matter. You don't have to catch all these big moves. In fact, you shouldn't even be thinking about catching all those big moves. Nobody does. Nobody catches those big moves. Hello. Listen to me. Trust me. 25 years in the industry, I've heard every kind of liar and braggart in the futures industry tell me all the big moves he caught, and they're all liars. 99% of them. Very few people catch these big moves. Sometimes they do, and you never hear the end of it. But it doesn't matter. If you get really good at Boomerang, and you're a big tough guy and a big trader or gal, then put on 10 contracts. You already know Boomerang's 90% going to win, even higher. I haven't had one single stop out yet. So put on more contracts. Look, a move from here, 2,000 to here is 30 points, right? So put on 10 contracts and catch a 3-point Boomerang move. There's your 30 points. This is just insane risk trying to go through that, and you're going to get a pull. You go, all right, I'm going to hold longer. I think it's, and they're going to pull back 10 points against you, and you're going to be going nuts. If you want to get 30 points, put on 10 contracts and trade one of the proven Boomerang setups and watch it get filled in a minute or two. That's so much better. Then you're out of the market. Your risk is cut. Yeah, you had that heart-beating, pounding moment when you put on 10. I know I put on big size when I trade my own account, but then they start going your way. And you can always, like if you got 10 on and you get in the trade and you're just looking for 3 points, peel a couple off at 1 point, peel a couple off at 2, and peel the 8, the 6 or whatever it is left over just to hit your close button when they go down and hit the 3 points. But you'll have your bracket fixed, so that'll do it for you. But I'm just saying, there's ways to do that. Avoid these type of trades after a big move. My advice, listen, this is a huge, huge, huge downside move. In most cases, you want to avoid the first crossover. Let him whipsaw. Look at the whipsaw. Let him whipsaw up. Let him whipsaw down. Then when you get that second buy level move, then take that pullback to the signal line and get a smoother move to the upside. Even though they're still whipping around, you got that smooth move to the upside. More whipsaw, more whipsaw. Don't care. Look up at your sign. Who cares? So what? I don't give a damn. I'm waiting for the exact correct boomerang setup. If I, quote, miss something, I didn't. Even if I miss a boomerang trade, who cares? My job is to catch the right setup and put that $240 per 4 contracts in my pocket and do that 3, 4, 5 times a day. You've seen how many winning setups we've had since I've been showing you this. I got about 5 more minutes, and then we'll go to the question and answer. Who cares? Just wait. You didn't have to move to New York like that example I gave you. You got the $200,000 job. You got the call out of 50 applicants. They hired you. We need you in New York. You're peacefully living in Nevada or wherever. Oh, you got to fly to New York for 2 months of training. You got to totally uproot and go there. And then they tell you in the midst of the training, we're so excited for you. You're going to open that branch office for us out there in Idaho, a lovely state. But oh my God, you're going from, nice desert weather to snow. Anyway, I know I lived in Wisconsin, my whole life when I was growing up. Very cold place. They close the schools 20 below zero, but you got to leave because you got a $200,000 a year job. Learn these boomerang setups and take it really serious. Don't just start winging trades again. Take it serious that I want to stay home and I want to make 200 grand a year and I can do it with a small account. I don't have to kill myself by taking all these extra trades. Just take the boomerang trades. New sell channel, matching dynamic trend bands. Is this easy or what? Colors are matching. Unless you're colorblind, this is pretty easy. They're matching colors. Go short right here. Within 30 to, I'm guessing on this candle, within a minute or less, you were filled on 3 points. My record for fills live in front of a large audience is 7 seconds. I've had tons of 30-second fills. Had a 16-second one the other day. You got to love those. You got to love them. 7 seconds and you made $240 in 4 contracts. If you're trading 8 contracts, you made $500 in 7 seconds. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it? What gets better is where you can spend that dough, having fun. Matching sell channel, matching dynamic trend bands, right? Is there any question that that's a sell channel? No. Is there any question that these are matching dynamic trend bands? No. It's actually a second level trade that failed. So you were actually, with this arrow, you had a warning it was coming. You got short at 41.50 and they came down in 2 minutes down to 35. You got your 3 points. That's why we trade for 3 points. We don't know where they're going to go, but yeah, they make a lot of big moves. I know that, and there's ways of catching those by using Hyper Scalp, which if you buy Boomerang, I'll throw it in as a gift for you. I don't always do that. It's not assured you'll get that, but I usually give it out. I'll tell you now, if you buy Boomerang today or tomorrow, I'll give you free Hyper Scalp. It'll show you exactly where to get out on the move. Matt, okay, another buy channel that failed. There was a quick crossover, but it quickly was erased. Here's a pullback signal, down they go. Here's a counter buy channel and a sell channel. Again, same thing. Trend move. That's the only 2 types of trades we take. Remember I showed you that first thing I showed you today. Only 2 types of trades we take. Counter buy channel. Here's the sell channel. There's the pullback signal line. Down they go. If you ask me on the next or during the Q&A, I can show you how to measure lengths of trades using Hyperscalp. I've got it on here so I can just bring it up. So why don't I go ahead and stop this part of the session here right now, and we'll go into your question and answers. That takes a little bit more lengthy time, so I don't record that portion there, but you can ask anything you want, and I'll stay here for another hour or two, and we'll get all your questions answered. But thanks again for joining with us, and that'll end this session here for the Boomerang Training.